Despite what my academic status and BSU ID photo might say about me, as far as age goes, I would no longer classify myself as a true college freshman. My first year ended with me flunking out and taking a gap year before being academically reinstated into the university with a new renewed sense of purpose. However, throughout my entire time trying to pass my freshman year at Ball State, there has been one group of staff members who I've had to interact with on an extremely regular basis, the freshman advising team. On the surface, the freshman advising team may seem like a fairly inoffensive section of the Ball State staff there to help out incoming freshmen with their first year and help them get settled into the university. And I guess on a technical level, that is ultimately what they are. However, this doesn't mean they're the most efficient and helpful version of what their potential could be. After spending enough time with them, I started to gain a deeper understanding of how the department worked, and I suddenly recognized one simple but glaring flaw that the department had. They're more focused on helping the university prosper instead of their individual students. I'm not the only one who struggled with my freshman advising my first year, though. My friend Ryan, who had to drop out due to similar feelings and circumstances, holds similar opinions. So, what was your experience with freshman advising your freshman year?
My first freshman year, when I went through that sort of advising process, I didn't really feel seen. I felt like as I was being advised, it was more along the lines of like, how can we keep the university, how can we keep the student in the university, not how can the student achieve success. And so that's kind of how I felt that was, and I understand why it is that way, but I feel like it could be presented at certain times. There could be a better presentation of points of advice and just sort of recommendations outside of the university as well.
All right, perfect, thank you. I think in order to solve this problem, the department simply needs to have a change in perspective and shift their focus away from the betterment of the university and instead focus on the betterment of the students in it. This can be achieved by doing things like putting priority into helping the students who are struggling rather than the ones who are already thriving, keeping up to date on the new clubs and student organizations so they can give students a proper social outlet if they're struggling to find one, or starting to hold more team meetings so that the department can feel more unified and learn how to better implement the new changes together. Now, there are some glaring issues that one can point out when talking about these new changes. It's not unrealistic to think that these new changes might be too much for the department to handle at first, and that my points about advisors needing to spend more time with students and more time with their department may appear to contradict themselves. But I feel people who are looking at those issues are failing to look far enough into the future to see how these changes would better change the university. Any kind of change in life is always going to be difficult, and the department will obviously struggle with the changes at first. But as time goes on and they become more comfortable with them, the university will definitely see an increase in students' grades and morale as the fruits of the advisors' labors come to fruition, and Ball State will be home to a much more successful and respected student body.